the investment of time that you make with Triana early on will pay large dividends later down the line.
Prior to Triana coming to Read Alliance, we were overwhelmed with the data analysis for our program. And I knew that we could be doing it in a more efficient way, but also in a more robust way. We just were so busy running programs, and we were reliant on our program managers and our program director to do the analysis. And I knew that we were at that breaking point where we needed someone to come in who could really focus on the data. Working with Triana created initially, relief upon the program team and the development team for that matter, because the two work hand in hand. When our program team was putting data in, that was going much easier and smoother. When development needed to get data out, they could do so because of reports that Triana built. So the overall capacity that Triana built for us in Salesforce to allow us to do our jobs better was a huge takeaway. And so the relief among both teams was immediate. It is time very well spent. And I'd even go so far as to say it's time you need to spend.
The time that I've spent with Triana in meetings, working on special projects is well worth it. She's very efficient, and in the long run, she will save you a lot of time through the work that she does. Another advantage of working with Triana is that she's in tune with the organization and what their mission is. She's in tune with the personnel and what their needs are, the ways they like to communicate. So just a well-rounded person.
I always felt like I wanted to do the evaluation work myself with my staff, but I didn't have time. So bringing Triana in, I wasn't crunching the numbers to figure out the data. It was just really great to finally achieve one of the goals that I had had for a long time, that the organizations I worked in would be more data-driven, and she made that happen. I couldn't do it on my own.
So here at the Hunts Point Alliance for Children, before working with Triana, a lot of the work that was done was very tedious and repetitive. So we recently implemented a Salesforce platform. And with that, it was kind of like, we would use a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet's field wasn't in sync with the Salesforce field. So instead of me trying to figure out how to sync everything, I was manually entering information into Salesforce. And on top of that, it was me having to teach the program coordinators how to manually enter information as well. So in working with Triana, we kind of simplified that process. We created a seamless enrollment form that would sync to Salesforce. And in the end, it saves a lot of time because now no one is manually entering things into Salesforce. Everything is well connected. Everything is well synced. Everything is a streamless process, and it just makes more time for myself and for staff to do other things for programming and just for organizational upkeep.
I do think the time is really worthwhile because the way Triana structures it, we kind of work together on some parts and then I lead on others. So it's very much like a scaffolded release where she put in supports to make sure that I wasn't just thrown into the deep end and spent a lot of time trying to figure things out when she could help me with that. So I would say, it really just saved time in terms of me struggling with things versus her just, explaining how something works and how to get from point A to point B more quickly. So for me, it was definitely worth the time investment, especially because the things we work together on, I have to repeat all the time and I have to have a deep understanding of. And so it really saved me time instead of grappling on my own all the time with everything. I was able to leverage her expertise, which made the process faster.
I think the organizations who would benefit the most are those mid-sized nonprofit where there's, everyone has a job and a function and they are doing it to their best, but they're also at their max and there's no room to take on more. And I think that's a lot, if not most nonprofits, as well as organizations who feel like they just don't have the time, they don't have the money for this. It's worth it.
If you handle vast amounts of data and you don't have the personnel to handle the data appropriately, then I recommend Data System Simplified. Triana will simplify all your systems, make sure that whatever data is relevant to you, your mission, your goals, she'll make sure that that's at the forefront of whatever you present.